You know, sometimes the most important plays happen off the field. And that's why the Pro Football Hall of Fame and Centene Corporation are investing in the next generation. Their Strong Youth, Strong Communities initiative is not only inspiring young people around the world, it's also equipping them to become future leaders who will make an impact in their communities. Good morning, everyone. Pro Football Hall of Famer Darrell Green, I want to come to you because after an illustrious 20-year career in the NFL that highlighted 2 Super Bowls, 7 Pro Bowls, and of course, nicknamed the Ageless Wonder and the fastest man in the NFL. However, you dedicated a lot of your time off the field. Talk about what inspired that.
Well, you know, it's an interesting thing that, as you started saying, I played 20 years in the NFL, but you know, at the end of the day, that was a childhood game. We used to play touch on the street, tackle on the grass. But the reality is I had something in my hand. I had influence, I had resources, I had access. And I realized that this thing in my hand was something that I can use to benefit other people. And so that was really the driving factor. This unique childhood thing gave me this type of ability.
Now, you brought Strong Youth, Strong Communities to life. Talk about what created that initiative and why you wanted to get that started.
So the idea of thinking about that whole concept, I would be invited to a restaurant and someone would pay for my food. And I thought, wow, they're paying for my food because I play football. I can take this and bring 100 kids. Hey, I got the rest of my kids with me. So, you know, that's just the way I've always saw it, you know, that I could take this thing and, of course, be a blessing to my wife for 40 years now, faithfully, and my children and our grandkids. But I could also impact other people. So I'm thinking about that in my dining room, living room, and how can I go around the country and impact other youngsters. And that's what birthed this whole thing, just a thought sitting in the living room about how I can take this and go impact other people.
Now, Patty, I want to come to you because can you please share with us how and why Meridian and Centene have made Strong Youth, Strong Communities and embraced it so fully?
Absolutely. When we think about making it possible, we also wanted to make it powerful. And so we did that through partnerships that were aligned and believed in the communities that we serve. And you think about the need around the world and around the country, we see a grave need with engagement with our youth. We have an issue with chronic absenteeism across our public schools. As you think, 2/3 of students have chronic absenteeism. They're missing a ton of their curriculum. And as you think around building a workforce or going into college or their next step in trades, it's really difficult to build a workforce if you've got unpredictability. And then you tie into that behavioral health challenges. 1 out of 5 high school students contemplate suicide, and tragically, 1 out of 10 attempts it. And so we need to focus on our kids. Mental health is health. And we think around whole person care and think around the way we engage. It's stakeholders like every single person in the room who care about our youth. When I think about the potential, it's our neighbors, it's our children, it's our nieces and nephews that we're impacting. And I get the honor of being able to see Darrell Green and Iman interact with kids in this program that's so powerful. And the difference is these athletes are tremendous. They've got stories to tell that inspire. They've got stories to tell that help motivate. And I've seen it firsthand. Across the country, we've done over 40 events and impacted thousands and thousands of students. We've done events in Lansing. We've done events across most of the states that we serve. And it's not just the difference in the moment, it's the difference in their life, the inspiration. And I'm thankful to be here. I've lived and worked in Detroit for 10 years, or over 10 years, and this city is one that has a people with a fire in their belly and an ambition to make a difference, and just thrilled to have the conversation with people that care and people who prioritize this time to have the discussion.
Now, Iman McFarland, Lady Tar Heels is in the building, everybody. You know, throughout your career, you have had a lot of success. But let's just take a step back, because you and I have spoken and you had dealt with your struggles early on. What is your message to the young students when you're at the SYSC events, and how does that message resonate to them?
Sure. Well, it starts with being vulnerable, and that's what the kids really resonate with. I mean, we come in with these gladiators, these superheroes, and at the end of our sessions, we are crying with these kids, both them sharing their hardships and what they're struggling with and what we've struggled with. And for me personally, I was about 6 feet in middle school. And so it was rough times. And because of it, I found myself trying to shrink and meet the size of my peers to avoid being bullied, to avoid being seen. And what I inevitably was kind of not beat, but my aunts and my support team really taught me to be proud of my height and to find the positives and the beauty of being unique and being tall. And that's how I found basketball, and truly basketball saved my life. And that's one of the benefits of this program, is that we're trying to not only inspire and empower, but to actually show these kids and give them a framework that they can utilize to find their own unique and positive traits about themselves and to be proud of who they are. And that's really all that matters, is teaching the kids that we work with that they matter, that they're not alone. And so we're trying to meet them where they are and teach resiliency.
Iman, you look fly today. Patty, you look fly today. Darrell, you look fly today. And if I don't mind, I think I look a little fly too today.
That is a good point. I forgot about that.
No.
One of our takeaways. So we try to create terms and things that the kids can take away to remember to love themselves. And what I use is stay fly. And fly means to fully love yourself. And so, you know, at the end of my message, I tell each person to look to your left, tell them to stay fly, and then look to your right, tell them to stay fly. And you can just see that brightness just open up, and they're like, oh, I can say this and still be cool, but reminding myself to love myself. So we really have a good time with that phrase. Thanks, Jamir.
You're welcome. So
Good
everybody
assist.
stay
Good
fly.
assist.
Darrell, I want to come back to you, because there have been so many magical moments that happen throughout these events. But what are a few that stick out to you?
Well, first of all, it's a privilege, as she mentioned. You know, I'm from food stamps, free lunch, home. You know, living in the projects, all that stuff, and I know where I'm from. I know who I am, and to go out and face these young students every time we go out, you identify with them, and to have the privilege to tell our stories, as she mentioned, and I'm fascinated with her story every time, because I felt good to be 5'8"3/4. I had no problem with that. And 3/4. But the reality is that as we have gone out around this country, we find that every kid wants to be loved. Every kid, every little boy and girl wants to hug, wants to be heard, wants to know you care. And so I remember Anthony Munoz, 6'6", 290 pounds, and Aeneas Williams, Pastor Aeneas, played 14 years in the league. And this one kid, and what they do is they come to you when it's over, and they get real intimate. They tell the truth. Their buddies are not sitting next to them, and they tell you their real hearts. And I grabbed the guys, Aeneas and Anthony. I said, man, I think I have a medicine for this kid just for right now. Will y'all come with me? And man, we, as grown men, husbands and dads who love our wives and kids and them, we gave this kid a hug. And man, you could just feel the virtue going back and forth for that kid. unfortunately, I haven't responded or followed up with that kid. I don't know, but I guarantee you that medicine was right. He talked about the problem between his dad and his mom and the problem between him and his dad. And I just felt that. And sometimes that's what it takes. We'll travel 1,800 miles to give a child a hug and to say, man, we believe in you. We care about you. I think, that's really the key. If we'll show up, it will show up. Moses was asked, what's in your hand? He said, I have this stick that I knocked the bad things off the sheep, the foxes or wolves or whatever. And we have in our hand our thing in our hand. And it's our influence, and it's the celebrity or whatever you want to call it. And we're able to use it. We're able to use these not gold jackets that I left at home today because my wife packed my clothes, but I packed my own clothes. So that's a whole nother story. But I do have this. This is a Hall of Fame ring. So, but we're able to use these things that are in our hand to be a benefit to these young people, and it's so special. It's so special. And thank all of you to gather like this, to collaborate about how we can go and do it bigger and better across this nation. Thank you so much. Thanks for having us as well. Back to you.
Patty, with over 40 youth summits, reaching 16,000 kids in person and 22,000 virtually, and over 1 million through social media, what is next for strong youth, strong communities?
Sure. I think there's a couple of things to mention. One is, as you hear Darrell and Iman talk, you realize that they're leaders and they've done so much in their life, but they're not above it, they're in it. As I think around seeing them interact with the community, this is the real, it's such an honor to be able to see the impact. We're really excited because we'll bring stronger youth, stronger communities. Centene and Meridian will bring stronger youth, stronger communities to Detroit this fall.
And we hope that the people in this room could be a part of that movement, that initiative. Darrell, one last thought. How proud are you? Because once again, this is something that you were doing essentially from the trunk of your car, going to schools and building with young kids and shaping the minds and developing them. And then you meet Joyce Larkin from Centene Corporation, and you challenged her. Tell us about that story.
Yeah, I was at an event, and my Nana, she's passed on. She was about 90 years old. She said, Darrell, come down here and see me in Washington, D.C. And I get in there, and she's telling me to tell this gentleman about what I was about to do. And I told him, and then he gets me on the stage, and Joyce was in the audience, and then the rest was history. But, Centene Corporation, they have mottos, and you guys have a motto. Yours is just care, right? Care for everybody, for all of them. So, it's not just me. And sometimes you think you're by yourself, but you're not. But it's exciting, guys. Again, I said it before. It's a childhood game. But in this country and in the world, it makes you something more than you are. But fortunately for me, I was something more than that. I'm a great husband. I'm a great dad. I love God. I love my family. I love people. And so Centene has this strength and this power to bring together all these people, and they care. Like, whoa, let's do this. And so it's been over 10 years, as you talked about the statistics around the numbers of students, but there's still more work to do. But I'm proud of everything that we've done, and I encourage everybody, all of us, sit in your living room and think about how you can impact, whether it's your next-door neighbor or someone in your community, or it may be bigger or it may be smaller. But I'm going to continue to do this until I die. I will never retire from serving. We can all serve. Dr. King said we all have the drum major instinct. But he said we can't all be first, though. We can't be out front with the stick, but we can all serve. And I've always believed that, and I'm going to do it until I'm no longer here.
Well, on behalf of Iman McFarland, Pro Football Hall of Famer Darrell Green, and Patty Graham, I'm Jamir Howerton. We want to say thank you, and thank you, and we can't wait to see you in Detroit this fall. Thank you.